Yeah, and much of the debris that came off of this roof here at this former school building here at St. Aloysius has been cleaned up. And some of that debris actually included bricks here, which have been put into these large containers here on site. This building, by the way, is used for various activities, including bingo, but there is still much work that still needs to be done. If you look across the road over here and look into that backyard, there's still a large piece of roof that remains. So making sure that people have enough batteries in their homes, candles, making sure that they're monitoring their refrigerated food and healthcare issues, even making sure that you have your cell phone charged. Those are all concerns that people have at this hour as they deal with massive power outages. We're live tonight in Gowanda. I'm Jeff Preval, Channel 2 News. Frontier School District has security cameras across the district. That's pretty standard these days for schools. However, Frontier is looking to upgrade its security systems by adding additional cameras, potentially in blind spots. But that is a project that is still under consideration by the State Education Department. Yeah, hi there, Scott and Mary Alice. It's really remarkable. If you take a look at this, more than 30 hours now, 35 hours to be exact, this fire has been raging. I want to show you what we're seeing here right outside the site. There are fire officials, fire department still down there. Obviously, this effort to get this fire under control has been wearing down firefighters, but they have been doing their best. Come back out to me right here. I do want to show you here as well. Look at some of the homes over here. You talk about the evacuations. However, you can see right there are lights on. People are still inside some of their homes around here. What does 18.5 feet look like? This is what it looks like. Imagine there was dirt and trash piled all the way up here. So I've been outside for the last 15 minutes or so, and you can see that I am covered with snow right now. And good evening. We begin tonight with a deadly fire down in Chautauqua County. The sheriff's office says that emergency crews were called out to a reported house fire on Sprague Hill Road in the hamlet of Kennedy this morning. Once firefighters arrived, they found William Caldwell inside. Caldwell was taken to WCA Hospital in Jamestown, where he was pronounced dead. Fire investigators determined that the fire started in the home's furnace. More of a salsa guy. I have not signed up at this point, Mary Alice, though. But we should get a group together. Maybe we could do that. Hey, maybe we can get a group together to get out here and do some Zumba. It is fun. It is fun. It's exciting.
Count me in. Yeah. I'll work on Mr. Levin.
So Zumba is going to be around this year as well. About a half hour ago, we told folks of some new things that are happening, mainly a lot of things for kids, right? Why has the state continued with those signs?
Because we are making a lot of money. Sometimes it's about the money. It's about the money and not the law? I mean, if it's against the law, why do it? Well, obviously, we're meeting the law, and we talked to the federal government about it. They have technical questions about the sign.
Hey, Scott, we're live here in Lockport, right outside Hytred International, that massive plant that caught fire. Now, throughout this case, we have not identified the 14-year-old defendant because of his age. It will do the same with his mother. She does not want to be identified so as to protect herself and her family.
My son has been very depressed, and he's very remorseful over what happened.
That's the mother of the teen who's been on trial in connection to the massive Hytred International fire last summer. She spoke to me in her first media interview. What was your first reaction when you learned that he was in that building?
I was very scared, panicked, was very worried.
Before all this, you know, I mean, what kind of kid is he?
He's funny, he's loving, he's always helping us out around the house, helping with his younger brother and sister.
Her son was with his best friend, 14-year-old Joseph Phillips. When the flames got out of control, her son ran out, she says, to go get help. Phillips stayed inside and died.
We were all very sad and very hurt. He was a very important person to our family.
Among the accusations her son faced were charges of criminally negligent homicide, arson, and criminal trespass. The defendant got a voicemail from Phillips while the plant was burning. Prosecutors say he did not immediately respond to it.
My son in no way was responsible for Joe's death.
She says within minutes he reported the voicemail to a parent, then to his mom, who informed Lockport police. Her son has pleaded guilty to arson and burglary. Has there been anything from the trial or anything that's been said whatsoever that you don't agree with, that you think that is just, that needs to be corrected?
Yes, there's actually several things. One is that my son did not start this fire. He was not the fire starter. That when my son left the building, it was to go to a friend's house to get help. He didn't run and hide.
What are you hoping is the future for him?
Well, I hope that the treatment that he's getting, that he can move on with his life.
Yeah, she says that her son is getting treatment for depression. Now, this case was supposed to resume today, but because of some issues with the probation department, some technical issues, it's actually been adjourned for a week. So we could get a sentence next week on this case. And the defendant's mother says that regardless of what happens, she hopes that her son is able to continue his treatment. Live in Lockport tonight, I'm Jeff Preval, Channel 2 News. Yeah, hi there, Mary Alice. We're live on the Cattaraugus County side of Gowanda. Still a lot of power outages here for residents and businesses, so they still deal with that. What we are seeing, though, it's a good sign here, are that street lights are still on, so that's actually a good point we wanted to pass along. As far as countywide, earlier today, this morning, there were power outages around the 12,000 mark. Now it's around 8,000, so they are making progress. In Salamanca, you mentioned there, where there is a state of emergency that was issued, stoplights around businesses are closed, and many side streets look like this with tree limbs and power lines down. Chainsaws around, DPW crews working as hard as they can to clear streets. For people who don't have power in Salamanca, National Grid has an estimated restoration time of 6 o'clock. Obviously, we're in that hour right now. We'll really have to see what happens with that. There is a warming shelter at the Salamanca High School for people who need it.
The main thoroughfares are open now, which is good. We have some side streets that we're trying to work on right now. We're still clearing, and I'm just asking people to please be patient with us right now because we only have so many people to do it.
Now, power outages have also been hampering DPW crews, like in the town of Ashford. Highway crews trying to hit the streets early today, but when they arrived, their electric doors could not open, so they had to open those up manually, so that certainly wasted precious time for them. As night falls, a lot of people, they're focusing on the essentials around the house. Do they have enough batteries? Do they have enough flashlights? Things like that are a major concern for people in these parts across the county and, of course, south of Buffalo. Reporting live in Gowanda tonight, I'm Jeff Preval, Channel 2 News. Two on Your Side was granted exclusive access to a natural gas drilling site in northern Pennsylvania. If the Northern Access Pipeline was ever approved by New York State, natural gas to feed the pipeline would come from here and other drilling locations in this part of the state. This rig is located in Sargent Township, McKean County, Pennsylvania. It's operated by Seneca Resources, a subsidiary of National Fuel. Our photographer and I had to wear protective suits before we went in. Why do we have to wear this?
I mean, it's just part of the safety protocol because you are working in an area where there's live gas. So in the event that we would have a gas emergency where there might be a flash, this will help protect us from, being burned.
There's bumpy, rocky terrain to get to the site. What you're looking at is drilling mud, a combination of rock, sand, and dirt that comes up as a result of natural gas drilling. Seneca Resources is drilling this well to get to the natural gas. The company expects to be able to actually extract the gas in August. Environmentalists in this region have concerns about Seneca Resources.
And I think that Seneca Resources is a problem. They're violating the law in many cases, and that's really the issue that we've had with all the drillers, that they're cutting corners.
We do follow the rules. But we looked at Seneca Resources' inspection record from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Here's what we found over a 10-year period. More than 600 violations of the state's Oil and Gas Act and Clean Streams Law. Infractions such as drilling with an expired permit and pollution materials discharged into waterways. In April 2010, this inspection report says between 300 and 500 gallons of diesel spilled on a well pad. and the company did not talk to someone in the Department of Environmental Protection until the following day.
I'm concerned that that will increase with the approval of the Northern Access Pipeline, and that it will be an unnecessary sacrifice of our environment in Pennsylvania and along the route of the pipeline through Western New York.
Why are we seeing those things if you're following the rules?
We expect the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection to hold us to a high standard, and we spend our time trying to exceed that standard on a daily basis. We also understand that we're involved in an industrial process, and on occasion there are incidents that take place.
On that diesel spill, Seneca Resources blames the incident on a contractor and says there were no impacts to groundwater. Seneca Resources points out that it's been inspected more than 6,600 times over that 10-year span. And when I did the math, that's about a 9% violation to inspection rate.
However rare they are, the industry needs to be held responsible for that.
From Pennsylvania DEP inspection records, we found the company has been fined nearly $900,000 over that 10-year span in civil penalties for various violations. Now, despite all that, Seneca Resources and National Fuel both maintain that they use best practices. But as you saw from the inspection records, environmentalists are not convinced that this is the case. National Fuel is appealing the DEC's decision of denying the Northern Access Pipeline, hoping a federal court overturns the decision. Environmentalists hope that doesn't happen. Reporting live tonight in the studio, I'm Preval, Channel 2 News.